So the funny thing about the footage, or some of the footage that's being used at the beginning of this video, is that it's actually from our Ring camera system that's set up in our driveway. The footage is really not that bad, but it's a combination of that and footage from my old camera. It's an Olympus OMD, but here you'll see Philip setting up the engine on the hoist and getting it ready to throw inside the car. So that white truck that you see in the background was actually someone that was coming into the neighborhood to work at someone's house, and he's also a car enthusiast, and he stopped to talk to Philip about the cars and the engine and see what he was up to.
Alright, I got the engine up against the car, drop this puppy in. I'm going to have to raise the hood. This is as far as it goes with the stock setup, but thankfully they have service mode, so I'll just take this off, move it down there, that'll lift the hood up enough that I can clear this puppy and drop it in here. So what I got to do next is, you see the transmission sits on that cross member right there. You can get the engine in, but it is a pain because you're going to be fighting trying to get these lower bell housing bolts in to the bottom of that transmission. So what I like to do is I'll get a jack underneath it and I will lift it a couple inches off, and that helps get that in because you're also going to be fighting these engine mounts as well, since they go right there. So if you get it up, you can clear all that, you can get it in there. Make sure your input shaft and everything looks good, got all cleaned up. For a 6-speed transmission, the STIs, you have to go ahead and put your throwout bearing in with the clutch fork pin in and everything. And then once you stab this engine in, also don't forget to take the alignment tool out. And once you get this puppy in here, once you get it in there, you just slam this fork back, which pushes the throttle bearing into this mono lock, and it holds on. It should be good. Sometimes it can be a pain and not lock, but I haven't had that happen in a long time, so hopefully I don't have it happen again. But let's get this going. Just need a couple inches, nothing crazy. Putting the hood in service mode. That's what I call it. I don't know what the actual name is. Got a darn mud dauber flying around, going in the holes. He just went in here. Nothing like dealing with mud daubers, putting their freaking nests everywhere. Anyway, let's see if I can get this guy. Get the fuck away. these holes can get kind of rusty, so I like to clean them out. They don't tear up your kind of get a little running through them. I don't know what it's actually called. I call service mode. You gotta watch out for your exhaust ABCS, oil control valve, and the cam sensor. If you're not paying attention, you will hit it on the subframe and bleep, they break right off. You gotta watch your input shafts. You want it to go in. And you also want to line up these bottom bolts if it'll focus. There you go. In the bottom of the transmission. And make sure they go in. And there's a trick that I've got because the engine's level, like perfectly level. The transmission is at an angle because it's jacked up. So what I do is I get a ratchet strap and I run it to the top of this, to the harmonic balancer, and I actually pick the front of the engine up to level it out. And I found that that works out really well. I'm gonna go grab one of those puppies right now. What's happening is I'm hitting those motor mounts, so I might have to go higher. Let's go ahead and lift this puppy up till those things clear, otherwise I'll never get this on. Alright, let's see. I am terrible at recording, but that is clearing. Alright, and as y'all can see, so another trick that I've learned over the years is when you're putting this all together like this, assembled, so you don't have to mess with putting it all together in the car. It's a lot easier to do outside of the car. This is what you want to do on these turbo bolts. I'm gonna leave them loose so that there's a little bit of play in the turbo. If you don't, not always, well, a lot, I've ran into this issue where You go around, and it is a pain. Is the exhaust housing on this on these turbos? They like to hit this transmission and get stuck right here. There's a little lip on this bell housing on the transmission, and that puppy will stay right in that lip and will not come off. So just leaving that little bit of slack on those bolts allows it to get this to get over that lip, and it's a million times easier. And then you just tighten them up once you get it in. So it's a little trick that I've learned over the years doing this. No one told me that. I wish someone would have told me that a long time ago. So I'm helping y'all out.
So this is kind of where the struggle begins with throwing the engine in. I'm currently at work. Well, not like as I sit here speaking, I'm not at work. But during the time that Phillip is installing the engine, I am actually at work. So I'm not able to assist him with it. But he was having issues getting the engine installed, as you'll see in the video. But he'll explain what was preventing the engine from actually sitting flush with the bell housing of the transmission. There was something blocking it. So he kind of goes through a few troubleshooting methods that he's done in the past that have worked, but he ends up finding out later that it's something else that's causing it. So you'll see.
Nothing like watching me struggle. What I like to do is I put it in gear.
And this is where he finds the mysterious object that has been preventing the engine from getting installed.
And don't leave this in there. It makes life easier, but it just made it harder. Anyway. Back to what we were doing. Oh, yeah.
It is the first time in 9 years that this car has had a running engine inside of it. It's pretty fucking crazy.
Does it feel like normal yet?
Sorry?
Does it feel like a normal clutch yet?
Yeah, it does.
Hold it down. Now, come. Feels like normal?
Yeah, it does.
Alright. I think it's good.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
It's getting better.
So the whole point of the bucket and the hose running from the fuel lines is to get all of that old gas out of the tank. However, this is where we learned that there was possibly something wrong with the pump or the tank in general, or at least all the components that are in the fuel system.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. Say that flip pump solid. Did you hear a noise? Yeah, it's fucking.
There is no running flip pump.
That flip pump, that tank, like fuck. We're gonna have. I'm gonna. Fuck, man. I have to replace the tank. Shit.
So yeah, as Phillip stated, the gas tank was pretty messed up, extremely rusty. So in the next video, we'll show you what the inside of the gas tank looks like, what all of the fuel components look like, the fuel pump, and then we'll also show you how to remove a gas tank. It's actually going to be a gas tank that we're removing from our 2008 red STi hatchback parts car that we have at our shop. So before we actually ventured down the road of removing the gas tank, we wanted to see if there was any instructional videos out there of removing or installing a gas tank on this model of Subaru, the 08 to 14, or at least 08 plus, WX or STI, even Impreza. There really wasn't much of anything out there. So I think it'll be good to upload this next video, at least for instructional purposes, for anyone who comes across a situation of needing to remove or install a gas tank on their 08 plus WX STI or Impreza. But anyways, till next time.